What's going on, YouTube? Sean here, and welcome to episode/day number 18 of the Godzilla Rewatch. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, the third film in the Heisei series of Godzilla films, and probably my personal favorite of the second series. I don't know, I've just watched this one the most. When I think Heisei Godzilla, I automatically revert to this one. I think the idea of the movie involving time travel, there's a lot more creativity in terms of the plot this one. It's the only one involving time travel, mind you. We get to bring back Godzilla's, arguably his most famous opponent, King Ghidorah, and then we get Mecha-King Ghidorah on top of that. You get some hilarious scenes with American actors going, "Take that, you dinosaur." It's kind of got everything that I want in a Godzilla film. It's got some of the serious tone, it's got some creative plot elements, it's got some great action sequences. I think in terms of like the Heisei series, the action sequences in this one are probably the best. You got some really hilarious moments too, like some moments that try to get really emotional and serious, and then ends up being completely hilarious in the end. Oh my god, there's one scene in particular where there's this World War II veteran named Shindo who has a personal connection with Godzilla because they show that Godzilla was once like this Godzillasaurus. So he has this real emotional connection to Godzilla, and then all of a sudden he's just having this serious moment. It's like, our savior will come to save us again. And then all of a sudden Godzilla just blows him the fuck up. And I every time I see that moment, I laugh hysterically. I love it so much. It's my favorite moment in the movie. And then you got the World War II flashback scenes. Now, I've seen it with both the English dub and the actual American actors, and I hate to say that, I have to admit this, the English dub actors do a much better job than the actors they got for the American scenes. When they're like, Major Spielberg, you can tell your son about it when he's born, Major Spielberg. And just the English version, like the actual, like, not the dub is better than the actual English voice, the actual English actors, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so many great stuff. The robot M11, some of the scenes, like, I laugh a lot at how cheesy they kind of look, but I like the idea of like this robot who is working alongside kind of our heroes. I actually met this dude at G-Fest last year. I mean, he was giving a little panel. I said hi in that, but like he was pretty cool, very chill. I didn't realize how well versed in the Godzilla franchise he actually was. Like, he's actually pretty significant when it comes to distributing these movies and getting a connection with the from Japan to US, because he can speak Japanese and he translate things quite well. Very nice guy, very cool, very chill. Definitely gave me some vibes of the Terminator, because, this came out in 1991, and, humanoid android robots are kind of a thing, I guess. Yeah, so I definitely like them. So the plot of this one is these villains known in the franchise as the Futurians. Well, they try and mask themselves as heroes, but, when people come down to time traveling that, they want to basically erase Godzilla from existence, because they're like, oh, Godzilla's going to come and destroy Japan, blah, 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 blah. So like, he's gonna just do all this shit. So we gotta get moving on this. So anyways, they come back in time. They say they gotta do this. Godzilla gets moved. Then they have to travel even further back in time. Why they didn't just go back and move him like beforehand is beyond me. Instead of just going right to the present, you could have just gone and eliminated the middleman. But anyway, so they go way, way, way back in time. They move Godzilla altogether. Well, actually, no, it does kind of make sense, because they need to know for sure if this dinosaur ends up being Godzilla. So yeah, they show like what Godzilla was beforehand. So Godzilla, I guess, is like this Godzillasaurus, and it was just mutated by the nuclear bomb to become the current Godzilla. So there you go, there's Godzilla's official origin. He was a Godzillasaurus who got mutated by nuclear energy. The fallout, the blast, changed him into what he is today. There you go, that's his official origin. At least in terms of this movie. Actually, there had to have been more than one Godzilla. I don't know, the time travel makes things confusing. So the time travel elements in this one, I can follow along better than other movies. It's like, okay, we're just... So, in a way, this movie kind of changed the continuity a little. The reason, for instance, like I think one of the explanations for like why Godzilla shows up 30 years later after the original is that these people, they may have tried to eliminate Godzilla, but they inadvertently created Godzilla of the Heisei series, so they inadvertently created Godzilla in 1985. So the reason that Godzilla shows up 30 years later is because when they moved this Godzilla, he ended up falling into nuclear waste anyways, getting mutated, and then there you go. He ends up being like created into Godzilla regardless. He's now more powerful thanks to modern nuclear weapons. So the birth of Godzilla was inevitable. No matter what they did, no matter how hard they tried, Godzilla just comes to be. But, when they went back in time, they ended up creating these things called, bringing these little demonic-looking puppet things known as Dorats, and then those things mutated to become King Ghidorah. So yes, King Ghidorah is born. He's controlled by the Futurians, as King Ghidorah, of course, is always controlled by some sort of alien race. It's kind of, well, except maybe in GMK, he's not really controlled by anything. And the new movie, the new movie looks to eliminate that factor. But anyway, so King Ghidorah comes in. Japan's basically like in an endless cycle of like being screwed over in this thing. Because, okay, we got to get rid of our Godzilla problem. Let's get rid of Godzilla. Oh shit, we got King Ghidorah now. We need, who's going to stop him? Well, fuck, we need Godzilla back, so let's go get Godzilla. Oh fuck, Godzilla beat King Ghidorah. How are we going to stop Godzilla now? Let's bring in Mecha-King Ghidorah. And Mecha-King Ghidorah is amazing. I mean, he's got the little mechanical head, his beams look cool. And that's another thing about this movie, is it started to emphasize the whole beam spamming thing that a lot of fans like to bring up. Like, okay, this is like all nothing but beam spams in terms of the combat. Look, I like some combat too, but I love beam spamming. I think the beams just look cool. They're bright, they're colorful. You get to see the Ghidorah's like middle head has like this cool like mixed coloration in terms of like his beams. He's got like all these little like mechanical weapons that come out of him to take on Godzilla. I really like beam spamming. I don't know about you guys, but beam spamming always just seemed kind of cool to me. I don't know, that's just me. I prefer like a mixture of that in terms of combat, like some good physical combat, and then I also like the beam spamming. So, yeah, this is nothing but beam spamming in terms of combat, with a few like creative elements thrown into play. So yes, in terms of action sequences, this one has some of the best of the franchise. Best of all time, I would disagree. I think one of my favorite action bits in terms of Godzilla is probably maybe Godzilla vs. Mecha-Godzilla 74 might be my favorite personal battle. That one's definitely up there. This one is definitely really good. In terms of the ending, they just basically launch Godzilla out to sea. The Futurians get destroyed, which is pretty funny. More time travel stuff. Stuff like that. They obviously leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger where Godzilla gets dropped in the ocean, then he wakes up until he comes back in the next film, which is Mothra, or Godzilla vs. Mothra, Battle for Earth is what it's known as, because, we had the original Mothra vs. Godzilla, and this one kind of just changes the titles around, so it's not quite as confusing to differentiate the two of them, so, yeah. Alright, what else can I say about this one? Funny moments, definitely. The flashback sequences with the military are hilarious. It's a dinosaur, gigantic dinosaur, it's attacking our boys. A dinosaur, what? The Take That You Dinosaur line is one of the funniest in the franchise. I guess, like, Steven Spielberg's dad was there, and they're like, you can tell your son about it when he is born, Major Spielberg. So basically the idea of how Spielberg came up with the concept of, like, Close Encounters and E.T. comes from this movie. So I think that's kind of a funny, cheap, funny little hokey joke. So I like that aspect of it. Just some subtle, funny moments with the human characters. The human cast isn't too bad this time around. I like the M11 robots. Mickey Saigoose is back, and she's just kind of there. She's not really fully utilized this time around. She becomes a bigger factor as the series goes on, but definitely not fully utilized this time around. She's just sort of there. The human lead, this writer guy, he's okay. He's not terrible. Like I said, the cast this time around is just fine. I think the M11 is the most interesting character of the bunch. The Futurians are kind of one-dimensional villains and just kind of hokey. But I like hokey. I like hokey just fine. So I think the cast this time around is just fine. Like I said, with the M11 robot being by far the most interesting addition to the franchise. And I like the creativity with some of the plot elements. I like how they bring in time travel. I like King Ghidorah and his menacing nature. Godzilla's still menacing as all hell. The music by Akira Ifukube, however you pronounce his name. The Ifukube themes are really strong this time around, especially the main theme. And the best moment of the whole movie is Shindo's death. By far, hands down, one of the funniest moments in the whole series, where it's just like, oh, it's all emotional, we're having this serious connection moment. The music actually plays it up very well, where this guy has this serious connection to Godzilla after he considers him like an ally since he saved him back in World War II. and Godzilla just blows him the fuck up. Like, he has a moment where they, like, almost, like, recognize each other, and then he just gets blown up. I love it. I think it's super hilarious where this guy's just like, yay, Godzilla did all this stuff for me. Oh, shit! Oh, man. Great stuff. But in terms of, like, grievances with the plot, I guess you could say there's little minor things. Like, time travel, there's always some sort of plot hole you can find with it. The movie's time travel, like, I'm not, like, constantly scratching my head. Like, I get it. I understand what they're going for more than so, like, more so than, like, when I saw Avengers Endgame when they set up their rules of time travel. I think the time travel makes sense in terms of the plot of this movie, and it's not like a terrible execution of time travel. So they deliberately say, okay, we can have two people in the same time. Just we don't want to mess with that. Like, okay, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, there's just stuff like that where I kind of like with it. So, anything else to add to it? No, I think I'm pretty good. This is one of my favorites in the Heisei series. It's solid all around. When I think Heisei Godzilla, I think Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. So, take it for what it's worth. Give it a watch. It's a bit of everything that you'd want. Some good action, badass Godzilla scenes, hokey, campy stuff. So it's got a bit of everything in there for you to check out. So, if you want a little bit of camp, it's in there. If you want some serious stuff, some of it's in there. If you want some good badass Godzilla action sequences, those are in there too. So yep, take it for what it's worth. Give the movie a watch. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Is it one of your favorites? Is it one of your least favorites? Let me know so that we can chat about it some more. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Take care now. Bye bye then. Hit the bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.